Fellow crypto enthusiasts, do you remember CryptoKitties? Or the more recent Axie Infinity, which was like Pokemon without the fun, or Decentraland and Upland, which were like SimCity with microtransactions. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't saying these all suck, but the world has yet to see an NFT game that people actually want to play. Let's take a look at why they all seem to flop. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room. These games are just straight up no fun, which is kind of the point of a game. Consider Axie Infinity, probably the most well-known NFT game that took off in 2021. In Axie, you bought your clearance rack Pokemon for a few $100s and had them battle it out in arenas. It was good for a solid hour, but by the 8th time you've sent the same team of Axies against the same enemies using the same attacks, it gets old fast. The game had no exploration, rudimentary leveling, and it was impossible to advance without weeks of grinding. The game was so boring that people even created, quote, scholarship programs, in which people in third world countries would take your account and grind on your behalf. When you're paying someone to play video games for you, you know that game is just not fun. And let's get real, did anyone play Decentraland because you really wanted to walk around a fake city? The whole game sucked, and the only reason to play was to collect minuscule amounts of crypto. That brings us to number 2, the lack of incentives. Let's face it, we all play video games to win, unless it's a boring NFT game. Then we play to earn. But if the rewards are not substantial enough or too difficult to obtain, players just lose interest and stop playing. Let's dunk on Axie once again, since it's the perfect example. The typical player gets capped at 150 SLP, that's the game's token, each day, and it would take something like 3 hours to earn it. At the absolute height, when SLP was 40 cents in May 2021, that's about $60 a day, or $20 per hour. But those prices didn't last, and SLP hovered around 15 cents for a while, or $22 a day, or $7.33 an hour. And today, SLP is worth a third of a penny, so 45 cents a day, or 15 cents per hour. There is no reason to play this game from a financial standpoint, and it's not actually fun either. Even if you believed SLP would rebound, you'd be better off just buying the coin than playing the game. Once Axie was saturated with players, SLP price started tanking, and with every leg down, the incentive to play decreased further. The game is effectively dead. Number 3, the complexity of these games can be a real turnoff. If the game is too complicated or difficult to understand, players may not bother to invest their time and effort into it. We all like to play games for fun, not to get frustrated by complicated mechanics. This is a common problem for NFT games because the developers do not focus on making an enjoyable game, but are instead focused on needlessly complicating things with NFT integration. A play-to-earn NFT game that can be quite complex is The Sandbox. The game allows players to create and manage their virtual world using NFTs, which can require a lot of time and effort to master. On the surface, it looks like Minecraft, but behind the scenes, the game was paywalled behind a needless cryptocurrency that slowed down the player. For someone looking for a good time, The Sandbox was a poor choice. The only reason to play was for money. And as you can see on this chart, that didn't last long. Number 4, let's talk about the limited audience. Gamers tend to be very disinterested in NFTs. Polls indicate that basically no serious gamer actually wants to use NFTs. So when a developer is designing a game that serious gamers explicitly do not want to play, the audience isn't gamers who are willing to toy with NFTs. The audience is crypto enthusiasts who are willing to play boring, complicated, and repetitive games. That is not a big group. It's like trying to sell vegan food at a steakhouse. Vegans aren't going to go there anyway, and not many carnivores are going to take a bite. While these games gained a lot of attention and popularity in recent years, they still have a relatively small player base compared to more mainstream games. And when the financial incentives go away, the crowd moves on to the next one. Number 5, there is a huge issue with the high gas fees associated with most of these games. Blockchain networks require gas fees to be paid for transactions, and high gas fees can be a real buzzkill for players who just want to have fun and earn some rewards. It's like having to pay for a VIP ticket just to get into a club, and it ain't worth it for most people. A game that has faced criticism for high gas fees is Crypto Blades. The game allows players to battle with NFT characters to earn rewards, but the cost of gas fees can sometimes outweigh the value of the rewards. And finally, number 6, the limited functionality of NFTs is problematic. Sure, they may have unique properties that make them valuable, but if they don't provide enough utility or can only be used in a limited capacity within the game, players may not see the value in obtaining them. It's like collecting stickers, which is cool, But what are you going to do with them? One example of a play-to-earn NFT game that has struggled with limited functionality is Ember Sword. While the game has generated a lot of hype and interest, some players have expressed concerns that the NFTs within the game may not provide enough utility to justify their value. Effectively, Ember Sword NFTs are just a speculation instrument, and the game behind it is an unnecessary extra step. Ultimately, not all play-to-earn NFT games will be destined to fail, but these roadblocks make it difficult for games to take off. It's all about finding the right balance between complexity, incentives, and utility to keep players engaged and invested in the game. If developers focus on making a fun game that people actually want to play, then maybe that game can be the one to break the mold. So